Hi, I wanted to stop for a minute and talk with you guys just a couple more times via video about a few things in the discussion boards this week. The first topic I wanted to talk about was the multiple intelligence and learning modalities that we have been discussing very well in the discussion boards, and I just wanted to kind of elaborate on some of the ideas there. The way that I think about multiple intelligences, those are strengths. Those are something that a child or that you have that naturally are the ways that you learn and often are tied to the interests that you have. For example, I am word smart. That's one of my linguistic word smart. I like to read and write. And so as a child, it was easy for me to think about, I loved going to the library and getting books. I slept with books in my bed instead of stuffed animals. And to this day, if I have the opportunity to sit down with a book, I love reading. So that's how I naturally am. There's not necessarily, the point is not necessarily that you try to get students to be math smart or nature smart or art smart. It is that you provide opportunities for children who are art smart or nature smart to grow and have an opportunity to express their strength and grow through their strength in your classroom. So for example, one of the ways that education does not suit this very well, if you think back into most high school classrooms and a lot of traditional college classrooms, there is the lecture where students sit and listen to a teacher who stands up in front of the class and talks and sometimes write notes. That works very well for a student like myself that is a word smart student and can learn with listening to language and by taking notes. So that works well for me. But for a student who is nature smart or math smart or music smart primarily, that may not be the best way that they learn. But if the teacher were to incorporate, like we do for small children, but doing for other adults and older children as well, incorporating music into the classroom, even if it is if there's time to where paperwork needs to be done, but having music playing in the background, having some soft classical music playing can help people who are music smart do well. In our classrooms, children who are nature smart, having the opportunities to explore and experience science and hands-on nature things can bring out some of their strengths and help them to learn. So it's not that you have to provide certain activities to get children to be this way. Instead, it's looking at the children in your classroom and kind of assessing and thinking, if you've got a child who is very math smart, do they have opportunities to explore and develop that strength in your classroom? Are there a lot of good, solid, pre-math, interesting things for them to explore and do in your classroom? It's just, to me, it's very, very much frequently tied to interest. The other thing that I find very interesting about following a child's intelligence or following their interests, for myself, when I was in probably more like middle school, I would say I had a very strong interest in marine biology life. And so, dolphins, killer whales, things like that. I would watch the Discovery Channel for hours when they had nature shows on, and I could have been taught anything if you could connect it to that. So if I could learn math, even though that was not my favorite thing, if it was related in some way to my nature interest, I could learn it and understand it and get it. Reading, came naturally to me anyway, but I would read a lot of information related to that interest. So again, it's not necessarily that you have to plan to try to get children to have these certain types of intelligence. Instead, it's trying to identify if you have a little person that goes around and sings. I have my little Layla. She sings all the time. She is very music smart. She pays attention and to rhythm and to sounds a lot more than I do. She gets that from her daddy. So I don't have to try to get her to be music smart. She's showing me that she is music smart, so that shows me I can give her music opportunities, and that will be something that's probably interesting for her. And so through music, you can teach math. If you have a kid who's not necessarily math smart, is not their favorite thing, but you can use another modality or another intelligence to help support the learning that you need them to do through something that's their strength. So it's an interesting thing. I've done the intelligence test on behalf of thinking about my kids, to kind of think about what their intelligence strengths are, and to think about what I can do to help support their learning. So it might be something that you kind of observe and think about when you have the kids in your classroom, and think, what kind of smart are they, and do I have things in my classroom that help them really shine and have the opportunity to explore and express that strength.